Wherever you live in the world, there are historic monuments that we may sometimes take for granted and sometimes, stop us in our tracks and make us think. But they're like bookmarks. They signify, among other things, they signify for us moments or events or people that had some sort of significance in our becoming who we are today as a culture, as a civilization, as a society.
On this block in New York City sits an unassuming building. It's a little run down and has a leaky roof. But within its walls are more than a century's worth of stories, and it's a major part of the city's African-American history. But its future is uncertain.
Colored School Number 4 was a racial caste school that was part of the Board of Education's public school system from 1860 until 1894.
Built around the 1850s, 128 West 17th Street started out as a school for white students. But by 1860, it became a school for black children and was partly inspired by the African Free School that was founded in the 1780s as a way to educate the children of free and enslaved black people. At the time, Colored School Number 4 was one of roughly half a dozen all-black schools in Manhattan.
So a day in the life of the school would be typical for any school student. A full day of classes. Evening classes, of course, would have been for adults. But the school also had community programs like speaker series and what have you. So whether or not you were a student, even if you were just a community member, you might have reason to spend some time in the building.
Colored School Number 4 educated students and served as a community hub, and it protected children during one of the city's bloodiest episodes. In 1863, during the Civil War, white mobs ravaged the city in protest of new draft rules. Over several days, black people were murdered and black institutions were destroyed. During the draft riots, teachers at Colored School Number 4 had to barricade the doors to protect the children from a white mob trying to get inside. The building had stopped being a school by 1894, and for much of the 20th century, the Department of Sanitation used it for a staff break room. For the last several years, Eric K. Washington, a writer and independent historian, has advocated for the preservation of Colored School Number 4. He's petitioned the city to grant the building landmark status, acknowledging its history and shielding it from demolition.
A building that has this kind of history, this kind of human history that's connected to it, is so rare, and it's becoming rarer in the city, that is constantly reinventing itself and growing and erasing itself, but in some ways shooting itself in the foot.
The landmarking process is ongoing, but there is precedent. In Williamsburg, Brooklyn, former Colored School Number 3 has been landmarked since 1998.
I think a lot of people don't realize that black history in New York goes back centuries, and people have a tendency to think blacks, New York, Harlem, which is not an illogical thought. It's a logical thought, but it's only a piece of a story. It's one of the reasons why I think it's important to treasure this place, because it reminds us that the breadth of the African-American experience in the city is not just relegated to one corner of Upper Manhattan.
In a dream world, Eric says the building would become a cultural center or museum. But for now,
buildings that speak to us in this way get us asking questions. And I don't think the answers are as important as being prompted with new questions, new inquiries to make about our lives. It just seems to wave its, to flag us down and say, stop, look, listen.